Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, Chelsea 2, Aston Villa 0, and we've done it again. 4 clean sheets in a row in our last 4 matches, and it's good to breathe. It's good to breathe. We had a little few instances where breathing was a little bit hard, but still, we managed to get through it with thanks to 2 people in particular, Mason Mount, and more importantly, I'd say more importantly because of different reasons. Of course, Mason Mount influential in winning the game. However, KEPA Arrizabalaga, man of the match, quite literally. The best performance of his career at Chelsea. I don't think that is quite an unreasonable shout. Kept us from going at least 4-1 down in the first half. There is, at times, players fight for positions against already high-performing players. Edouard Mendy, a high-performing player, of course, as recently has been injured and has had a bit of a downward spiral as of late. But granted, overall, he has had a fantastic performance for Chelsea throughout his entire career at Chelsea. As I said, granted, Mendy was on the turn before KEPA was put back into the number 1 role. But KEPA has seemingly swiped the number 1 spot from Mendy, and I would argue one of the top 3 players to be named on the team sheet from the get-go. Reece James, Mason Mount, KEPA Arrizabalaga, the top 3. Oh, Thiago Silva, of course, as well. I forgot that on the player rating show. I'm going to get slated for that. But still, those 3 players, those 4 players, absolutely fantastic. In this game in particular, Mason Mount, KEPA Arrizabalaga, absolutely unbelievable. Like I said, the defence made it so difficult for KEPA, but he just took it in his stride. Absolutely unbelievable performance from him. Man of the match for me. We did a straw poll in the watch along for ChelseaFansXI, and just definitively KEPA. Given the circumstances, given the timing, given the performance, given the game, given the consistency, KEPA Arrizabalaga is, I dare to say that he's back. Was he ever here to begin with? He certainly is showing up. He's been here 3 or 4 years already. But Jesus, what a performance. What an absolute performance. Arguably one of the best goalkeeper performances I've seen in a long, long time. Defensively, we looked shoddy. Really, really shoddy. And have definitely looked better. I don't know if that's whether or not, AC Milan games, Wolves games, we've been run into the ground quite, Reece James has picked up an injury. Kante's still injured. A few other players, not that Kante's been playing recently, but still, you get my point, is that players are getting run into the ground here. And thankfully, with the likes of a Graham Potter in charge, rotation is the name of the game. In the middle of the field, Kovacic, Mount, of course, unbelievable, but they ran the midfield really, really well. Kovacic, a bit better than he has been recently, but, still not quite the Kovacic. The thing is with Kovacic, it's difficult to, test his performances because he's not a player recently that is just here and everywhere and makes massive impacts in the game like a Mason Mount or like a KEPA Arrizabalaga or a Aubameyang or whoever. He just quietly does his job in the background. That's what he does. That's the name of the game for him. That's what he's supposed to do. But he's been doing that really, really well. Whether or not it's quiet or whether it's loud or whatever, he's doing it really well. Havertz, Jesus Christ. Fuck it, just so annoying to watch lately. Not sure what's happening with him. Besides his blinding run where he beat 2 defenders or two players with ease. He was just so elusive. No impact really apart from that one instance where it was a fantastic run, albeit probably one of the best generated performances or just best generated runs in the entire game by Kai Havertz and by any player for that matter. And I'm just looking. Haaland's nearly scored there. Unbelievable save. But yeah, just a poor performance from him overall. And just that one instance, fantastic. But we need consistency, just like many players. Sterling! What's happened to him? Jesus Christ. I said I wouldn't criticise him too much. I'm a big fan of Sterling. I always have been. You know, it's just one of those players that it's hard to not like. It's easy to not like him, but it's hard to really hate him. Not sure what's happening with him. Had a great header chance, and obviously the Havertz chance as well earlier on. He's just on a bit of a downward performance at the moment. It's still good. Really, well, I say that today, not really good at all. But in other games recently, he's been good, just not good enough. And today was probably one of his worst performances for Chelsea overall. Everyone else, Chilwell was awful. Lucky to be on the pitch. Again, I say this. I really think that was, on another day, probably a red card for most players. A red card for, you know, depending on the ref, depending on the VAR, probably another red card. But still, Loftus-Cheek just off the ball again, making KEPA's life a little bit harder today, but still quite solid on that right-hand side. He's got a lot of, you know, a lot to fill on that side. With that said, again, boys, girls, ladies, gentlemen, Chelsea 2, Aston Villa 0. We made it harder than we needed to, of course, but we got there in the end. And 3 points is 3 points. The number 3 still keeps coming up all over the fucking place. Boys and girls, thank you so much for watching. My name is Harry. Be sure to like, subscribe, hit the bell notification. Get your views in the comments should you have any views yourself. And with that said, up the Chelsea and peace.